Welcome to Tiger Talk, your source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by... And Tiger Talk brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, String Beans, and Mrs. McLovett's down on Lower Main in Princeton, Hancock's Neighborhood Market, delicious homemade goodness, and Perry's Floors and More.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
All right, and at 8:08, I had the pleasure of welcoming our Main Street manager, and that's Mr. Kota Young. How are you, sir?
Well, the pleasure's all mine, Ty. How are you this morning?
I'm fit as a fiddle for a Monday. I can tell you that.
Ain't that the truth?
We were talking about these Mondays, but caffeine gets me through.
I have not actually had my caffeine yet this morning, so
well,
I'm running on it. No, I don't need it. I'll be up for 2 or 3 days if I get some. So
I hear you. I know you've been up a lot lately because I see your truck up there burning the midnight oil, but you've been pretty busy on a pretty cool project, and that is you've been revamping the City of Princeton's website.
Yeah, it's something I'm adding a new line to my resume, as I like to say. But actually, our website, it's princeton.ky.gov. It's actually provided to us free from the state, so that in and of itself is great.
Why not?
But what you actually have to do is you have to go to a training, and then you're able to change it as much as you'd like.
Right.
So it's something that I've taken on in my job and attempting to update our website, trying to make it a more user-friendly and informative resource. Because, as we were talking about before we came on this morning, website, internet, I mean, that's the way everything's going.
Sure.
I mean, that's where people go for their information. And I know, especially during the eclipse, we had some information on there for the eclipse. And it was truly remarkable because we would have people that would call into City Hall and use the information they saw on the website. So, because we really don't have a way to gauge the traffic on the website, but just in that instance, we could actually see how much the website's actually used. So,
and it was quite a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I say all that. It is Monday, so I apologize if I'm already going off the rails a bit here. But one thing we're trying to do is we're trying to get all of our business information onto our city website, trying to make it a one-stop shop for anything and everything Princeton. So what we're asking is that if you are a business in Princeton, that you send in some very basic information, and we'll get it on the website for you. And then also, as a disclaimer, we can change it as many times as you want. Well, maybe not 4 or 5 times in a week, but throughout the year, if something needs to be updated, if you'd like to describe your business differently or have different pictures, or if some reason you've had to change your contact information, or if you've expanded your social media presence, all that information we can add. But I say all that to say that what we're asking for businesses is just very simple. We would like your business's name as you would like it to read, up to a 25-word description of your business, and then just basic contact info, hours, phones, emails, websites. What we'll actually do, your location as well. And if you go to our website, you can see some of the listings we already have up there. One thing I'm very excited about with our website, one thing that we're able to do is actually be very prolific with the links we can add. So when you send in your location, I'll change it into a Google Map link so that when somebody clicks on it, it actually takes them straight to Google Maps, and already having that as your end destination so you can use it to get directions, and also for your Facebook, Instagram, any of those sorts of links, and your website and email. So like I said, it's incredibly user-friendly. I think it'll be an incredible resource for our businesses. all that we ask is that you just send in your information. And you can send that into Princeton KY Main Street at gmail.com. Or you can just call City Hall 365-9575 and ask for Kota Young. Or if you want to, you can just give me a holler on my cell phone, 625-4827.
All right.
So that was a lot of information all at once.
Hey,
so.
well, and the good thing is we're streaming this, so people can go back and listen if they missed all that. But no, it is important, especially in our smartphone computer age. You know, people are always looking at a device. It seems like for information, and this is a place where they can go hit a website once and get a lot of information all at once right there. And I know you've got a calendar on there.
Well, and I'm working on the calendar as well. It's a lot of pieces to get into place. We're hoping that eventually it'll be a well-oiled machine, but like I said, it's a work in progress.
And that's something that, of course, we'll talk about. It's a work in progress, but what you're hoping is that if there is a community event in town, that people will be able to add that to the calendar, correct? Or without me, I mean, it'll be something that they could probably go on there and maybe add it themselves without having to go through you, correct?
Well,
is that what you're working on?
Well, it actually has to. We would prefer it to go through City Hall. The way that we have it set up right now, I actually added from my account, but it's open to any events that are going on in the community. You know, for so long we've heard that people are interested in having some sort of one-stop calendar, so that we can see all the list of events. And it seems like so often that when we do have events, it's kind of a left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing situation.
Sometimes, right, correct.
And then we'll go 4 weeks, and one weekend in that period we'll have 6 events. Or I'm exaggerating a bit, but we'll have 2 or 3 events one evening, and then we won't have any events for 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And you just cut it into a small pie right there, and so it's an opportunity just to spread out events to make sure that you maximize how many people can turn out to your event. Because, of course, we want all of our events to be well attended. And the more that we can have every weekend, the better draw it is to outsiders.
And I know we struggle sometimes here, even at the radio station. We count on, we try to cruise social media. But we count on people to let us know. Sometimes we can't get out there and get all of it, so we want to know what these events are, where they are, so that we can be a part of it or cover it or just whatever. But it's just, sometimes in someone's mind it's just not there to, I better call them or whatever. So it's another resource that we can all help each other out and find what's going on.
And it's a good problem we face is that there is so much going on.
There is.
There's so many different places to look and so many different community groups and different organizations that put on great events throughout the year that, just a cursory look on Facebook can take up your entire day.
Oh, yeah.
So that, it's a good problem to have, but it is a lot easier, of course, if you do have information just to kind of make it a second nature sort of thing where you're like, we'll send it into the radio and the newspaper, and then hopefully eventually you'll also consider the city website as well.
Sure.
So that we can kind of use that as a resource. And, of course, the website and newspaper are also going to be recognized on our city website as another resource for media to keep up to date with all the great things going on in the community.
And we appreciate that. That's awesome. And we're doing a little revamping on our website here as well, so hopefully we can reciprocate that way and just all kind of help each other out. That's what it's all about.
But, it's something I feel strongly about since I've started working for the city, and in the position I hold now is just trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because it seems like so many times there's so many people that have good intentions, but either they think that there's nobody else out there that also holds the same ideas that they do, and then they decide not to pursue them, or 2 or 3 people have the same idea and pursue them from different directions, and there's just too many chiefs and not enough Indians, so to speak. And ideas can die that way as well. So it's just good to be on the same page so that we can maximize those resources and hopefully get as much done as possible.
Awesome. Have we left anything out as far as the websites? We're going to take a break and come back and talk about all kinds of other stuff.
I don't believe so. Just remember, if you're a business, just to send in that information. And our information is also listed on our city Facebook page as well, City of Princeton, KY. If you want to take a look at that. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, 625-4827. You can even send me a text if you'd like, or you can just call City Hall 365-9575 and ask for Kota Young.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's take a break. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about with Main Street. We've got Black Patch coming up, so we'll hit on some of these highlights and when we come back here on Tiger Talk. So Coda's going to stick around. It is 8:16, and we'll be back after we take this String Beans coffee break and Mrs. McLovett's Cupcake Craze. Be sure you check out Mrs. McLovett's Facebook and Instagram this week for her flavors of the week. Don't miss out on that. We'll be back right after these messages. You're listening to Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. Kota Young in studio. String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks, hot, over ice, or frozen. They serve lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Like them on Facebook to view their weekly menu. They also rent out the back room for birthday parties, anniversary parties, and baby showers. That's String Beans Coffee House, 108 East Main Street, Princeton. Give them a call, 270-365-0550. Shh. It's Princeton's best-kept secret. Pardon me?
Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes in downtown Princeton. It's truly the best-kept secret in Princeton. Come down and enjoy a delicious homemade cupcake made from scratch and only from the finest ingredients. While downtown, enjoy a sweet treat on the patio in front of our shop. It's a delightful way to spend a moment with a friend or someone you love. Check out Instagram and Facebook for the Mrs. McLovett's Flavor of the Week. Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, where there's always room for a cupcake. Phone 270-963-2544 to place an order.
All righty, we are back here on Tiger Talk, and we got another guest in studio. We were Dakota and I were just talking about our Black Patch event books, and we just got them. George Kilgore stopped by the studio, and let's talk Black Patch, guys. Why not?
All right.
It's upon us, isn't it?
Less than 2 weeks off.
And, of course, you guys are still going to be at Hardee's tomorrow night?
Correct. At 6 o'clock for our regular meeting. Anybody's got any questions or still like to get a booth or anything like that, come on out. We'll be glad to work with you. I just stopped by not to really talk to you on the radio, but to leave you some booklets. They come in on Friday, and we've got those picked up. I'm trying to be out today passing those out. We've got some more going to be picked up today.
I want
and
to
hopefully
up there in the camera and let everybody see that thing. There's the camera.
There's the camera
there
right
it is.
there.
Yeah. And,
all right, got a lot of information in there, and good thing about it showcases a lot of our local businesses, and put in ads in there about their hours and what they have to offer, and we're proud of that. And this helps take care of the expenses for Black Patch. There's so many that goes along with that, and this will help us out with that. And we sure just can't say thank you enough to the businesses that do help us out with the booklet each year.
It's a fun time of year because people are lots of sporting events going on. Fall's kind of in the air. The temperatures are starting to get a little bit cooler,
best
and then
time of the year.
Tobacco smoke and barns.
Right.
And you start driving around, and then of course you start thinking about this great heritage event that we have here in town. It's been going on a long time. And
this is the 80th anniversary.
Wow, that's insane.
It is. And I know Kota, being Main Street manager, it all kind of it works together. Of course, Black Patch this year is a little bit different because we've had to do some maneuvering due to some electrical issues.
Right.
So it's going to have a different look and feel this year. I got a feeling
It will, and the art on Main, the arts and crafts going to be on Main Street this year instead of down at City Hall. So we're hoping to have everything kind of pulled together there. We're still working on maybe some teenage rides, some that's not kiddie rides. We're negotiating with a company on that, maybe bringing some things in like that. Hopefully we'll have an answer on that. But we're looking forward to a good year with some, like you said, some changes. Just look around. It gives you a chance to examine the whole area, not just say, well, I know where that booth's at. That's where I want to go to. Booths are going to be different this year.
They are.
Different locations.
Of course, George in studio tomorrow with Justin Reynolds. His band is going to be playing, and Justin's going to be with you in the morning for a little visit, and we'll talk about some of the music at Black Patch. I had Wesley last week, Wesley Curtis in, talking about the Nealons and the Black Patch singing. So going to be a great night and day of music at the Black Patch Festival.
Have three different music venues going on at the same time. The Square Dance going on in front of the CO Pros, Justin Reynolds Band down in front of Princeton 1 Hours, and then at First Baptist, the gospel singing. So a lot of different avenues to come out and enjoy some entertainment that night, as well as the street.
And a lot of different genres as well. I mean, you're really hitting a lot of different musical styles there, so there's a little something for everybody.
And I go back to the booklet. that is another way we're able to provide some of these activities by the different businesses that support us in our Black Patch booklet. Plus, it gives a lot of information. It's got
Yeah,
a schedule,
there's lots of information. In there.
schedule of
Yeah.
what's going to be going on, where it's going to be at, and again, a good way to just showcase a lot of our local businesses.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
bringing them by, and we'll see you in the morning with Mr. Justin Reynolds,
All right.
and hopefully Justin will bring his guitar. He
He
might.
mentioned that yesterday,
Okay,
that he
well,
might bring that by.
Might
so-
have a little picking in the morning.
I might
Thank
come back
y'all.
tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, George. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's George Kilgore. He is Princeton Optimist Club, and we let him just kind of come in and
I tell you, it's a danger of an open door policy.
look, we love it,
no,
though.
It's great.
It's radio. It's
It
fun.
is. Hey, it's Princeton's radio. You can come in if you got something to talk about. Just
Pull on in.
you see Ty in here, you just pop in.
That's right. So let's talk. We were just talking about all the events of Black Patch, and it just goes hand in hand, I guess, with what you do on Main Street. You know, we talk about our Main Street of Princeton. It's a gorgeous Main Street. We have all kinds of wonderful businesses downtown to showcase. Black Patch is a little different because some businesses choose to stay open, some don't, but yet all the activity highlights our Main Street.
It's definitely a beautiful backdrop. You can't beat that. And then one thing I am excited about this year, it does seem like a lot of local businesses are purchasing booths, at least what I hear when I put,
That's what I understand, yeah.
hearing it from when I hit the streets, it seems like a lot of them are excited to sell their wares at this year's Black Patch Festival. And of course, we have to give a shout out to the Optimist Club for putting on this event year in and year out. You know, I can't even imagine how much effort and planning it takes, and it's definitely an undertaking, and they pull it off every year.
They do, and as soon as one ends, they get going on the next one. It seems
It's
like.
never ending.
No, it's just. It probably takes at least a year to get all this
yeah.
stuff together. Now, some parts of it, I'm sure, are a well-oiled machine and just kind of fall into place. But there's a lot of stuff, especially this year,
Yeah.
with them having to change around some of the configurations due to the loss of some electrical outlets at a certain strategic point there downtown. And so they've had, Randy Jordan has hustled around to try to get some of these things redone. So kudos to that group as well. And it takes a whole lot of people to do
It
a lot
takes
of
a
this
village,
stuff.
yeah.
It does
I
to
tell
get
you,
this
and
done.
this is another one of those examples. You know, for any event that goes on in the community, there's so many people behind the scenes that just step up to the plate when they're asked, and they do it without asking for any glory or commendations or anything like that. And
Happens a lot around
yeah.
here, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But just kind of like you were talking about Randy Jordan, there's no telling how many other untold individuals in the community have chipped in and contributed to this event to try to make it as best as possible for the community.
That's right. And we do want to remind folks that tomorrow, Tuesday at Hardee's, that the Optimists have their regular meeting out there. But if you need some information, want to be a part of Black Patch, you can pop in out there tomorrow evening and talk to Roy Jean and George and the club out there about having a booth or whatever you need. So
yeah, and I'm really excited. I got to say, I know we briefly mentioned it, but the Justin Reynolds band. I mean, that's got to be really exciting. I've looked them up since I saw that they got them, which I think is just great. It goes so well. Wesley Curtis has done such a great job with the gospel singing. I know that's such a popular part of Black Patch every year that some people look forward to, and of course the square dancing, which I have never partook in. I think that's the correct past tense.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I might have to do that this year. I'm an old clogger
I
from way
really
back.
wish they need like square dancing lessons beforehand, because
I
don't
think
wanna
Nancy
be,
Taylor maybe tried that one year. I don't know.
That seems like something she would do.
It
So
seems
maybe
like
I
it
just need
would.
to get private lessons beforehand, because I feel like I don't want to jump out there with all these other people that actually know what they're doing.
Just go down there and just fake it, man. You'll get. And if you watch long enough, maybe you can pick it up.
Well, there are many things in life that you can fake it till you make it, but I feel like square dancing
no, that's a tough one.
is probably not on that list.
No, you're probably
It
right.
seems like it'd be simple, but I think that's deceiving.
No, but it is neat because that is probably not in some areas, southeast Appalachia, they're still quite popular, but it's just not what it used to be. And to have a good square dance, have the
Yeah.
collar and everything, I mean that's something that you just don't. It's kind of dying out.
Yeah, it's such a shame. It seems like so many things like that are, though.
Yeah.
But, this is just such a great representation of the community. I'm really excited as well. George mentioned it, and I'm not very well versed in it, but I do believe Art in the Park is now art in front of them.
Yeah, I think all of
yeah.
Lower Main, they're going to have both sides. The art guild's going to have both sides of
Yeah.
Lower Main down there. and it's going to be all art and crafts, I'm sure, but really showcasing the art guild and some of the artists' works. And that's pretty neat.
I tell you, I'm always amazed by the skills and talents of our local members of the community. It always blows me away. It kind of makes me wonder why I got stuck with the short end of the stick when it comes to talent.
I know we've got quite an art community here.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, such a flourishing art community,
and it's just kind of you see folks, you see stuff on Facebook, but we have great local artists here. We've got a lot of underground musicians. All of a sudden, a musician will pop out from somewhere locally, and you're like, man, they can play. And you never see them again, or they're just doing it, for the love of it themselves. So that's what's kind of fun.
It's the hidden skills, and I must say, I guess my hidden skills are very well hidden because I've not uncovered them yet. So
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
But yeah, it seems like it's always the fun events. All of our communities, of course, have our small street fairs and festivals, and it's always an exciting time of year.
We want to encourage everybody to come down and participate in Black Patch. It's a heritage festival. Not only do yes, we've got the carnival foods and the rides and all that, and those are fun for the kids.
You had me at carnival foods.
Huh?
You had me at carnival foods.
Oh, yeah, I got you at carnival foods. Funnel cakes and fried Oreos and just all that good stuff. Big old pork chop sandwiches. We can go on and on. But it is a time and a place to see folks that you don't see maybe all the time, and that's what's also, George always says it, it's about the fellowship and the time that you see folks and just to come together as a community, and that's really what was another aspect of it that I enjoy.
Yeah, you can never have too many events that allow you to, get together with your neighbors and just celebrate in a nice family-friendly environment and atmosphere like Black Patch provides.
We need to give kudos to our city city folks that do the work, and the cleanup, David Sullinger and his guys, and of course our police officers and fire. They all play a big role in pulling this off.
It's definitely a team effort. Just kind of like we were talking about. There's so many people that have to be involved for something like this to go off without a hitch.
Right.
And it's just people behind the scenes.
And let's talk about the Main Street aspect of this, because that's where it takes place.
Yeah.
And Main Street, we were talking about showcasing our Main Street, and it's one of those little hidden gems. I think that's one of those that you take for granted. It's right under your nose, and you don't realize it until you might be riding down Main Street on a fall evening, and you see all the lights on, and you see, man, it's a gorgeous downtown, isn't it?
It really is. I tell you, it's one of those things. Every small community claims to have a beautiful downtown, but we actually have the evidence to back it up, in my opinion. I think we have a very vibrant downtown with a lot of unique businesses that you won't find anywhere else, which I think is one of the things that are so exciting about downtowns. It really encourages entrepreneurship.
It does. And we have a lot of, unlike some of these downtown areas, we've got a few buildings that aren't occupied, but for the majority of the part, our downtown is occupied. We have viable businesses in the buildings downtown.
And we're very lucky to have so many buildings still left intact. Of course, there has been some alterations throughout the year, but to have as many buildings as we do and have such a intact street wall is really, it's so rare in communities anymore. And, of course, they're, it's kind of like I always say, these buildings were never intended to last forever. It's really amazing when you look at some of the historic pictures of our downtown. You see these beautiful buildings, and you're like, oh, well, where was this? Why did it get tore down, or why was it replaced? And then you see what is standing there now, and you're like, oh, well, they replaced with something just as good, or better. That's one of the problems with some of our downtown buildings is, they require constant upkeep and maintenance, which is one reason such kudos to those who invest in trying to preserve these relics of our history. But, it's just one of those things that we try to preserve despite time and building materials working against us.
That and again, these shared wall buildings and
that's always
and the way they're built, that's a little tougher to maintain. The way just the way it was done back then. But
it's so amazing how they built these buildings, and they have lasted as long as they have. Because the Art Guild, our oldest building downtown, turned 200 years old this year, which is just absolutely remarkable. It's hard to think of any of the buildings we build now lasting 2 full centuries and still having so many years left ahead of it, hopefully. But, these buildings are so unique. It's even the mortar itself, it's sand. That's truly what it is, holding these buildings together. Is nothing more than sand just dredged from some of our local, sources, streams.
It's amazing,
And the limestone blocks, I mean, they're just truly representation of the local building resources available.
Right, at the time.
At that time, and it just shows the ingenuity of some of our past citizens.
And some of the engineering and workmanship is just fantastic.
And it's something I've always felt very strongly about with our buildings downtown, as I think that they are the truest representation of community pride that we really have left. Because these buildings, especially some of the more intact ones, when you notice some of the very intricate metalwork and, some of the cornices and the pressed tin and, the hardwood floors, those were not necessary to conduct business, even back in the 1800s and the 1900s. Some of the basic structural functions were,
Right.
because of the lack of electricity and whatnot, but all those extra embellishments were not necessary. That was nothing more than pride, community pride. These builders wanted their community to be beautiful, and they were proud of their community, and they wanted to represent that through brick and stone and metal and tin. And I think that's one reason that it's so important that we try to preserve
I agree.
our downtown districts, is because I think that that's something to aspire to as well, is trying to go that extra mile to try to make your community a better place.
I agree wholeheartedly. Let's talk about, we've talked about the flag project. Where are we on that? I know I saw that the flags were being sewn a couple weeks ago, the sewing event.
Well, we had a great sewing event, and I would like to thank that everyone that came out.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job, and I just appreciate them giving up their Saturday to contribute to this project. We are actually about a third of the way done. We have 13 flags completed so far, and they look absolutely fantastic. It kind of goes back to, as well, the hidden talents of this community. I mean, they did a fantastic job.
But you just, I think the reason why, I think Jeanette had planned it really well, but it was really hard to get sewers in to do all the shifts. I guess that was the main thing, wasn't it? And you had to kind of do it gradually.
I think it's one of those things, whenever you try something new, there's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be a learning curve. I think we learned a lot from this first sewing event, especially moving forward. But I'm very pleased with the output we have so far, and soon we'll be replacing, taking down the American flags and, cleaning them and getting them put into storage so that we can have them up again next year and start putting up the blue and gold tiger stripe flags. But I just got to say, it's just wonderful to see the community turn out to be able to support something like this, especially since the project was one that really focused on the community giving back to the community. Instead of going out and purchasing which incredibly expensive sets of flags from some manufacturers far off, trying to actually not build them, but sew them and create them right here in our community. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about, just having that visual representation of community pride. So we're so excited about that.
As we should be. And we will see those up this fall? Possibly?
Hopefully, yeah. As soon as there's a big orange ladder at City Hall that is the source of many of my nightmares. That is the only one that can reach up high enough to get the flags off. So I have to haul that out and replace the flags, and I'll do that hopefully sometime this week and go ahead and get the blue and gold flags we have.
So if you want to hold a ladder, if you're out there and want to, you see Kota with the big orange ladder.
Just kind of,
if you got, maybe just take a few minutes, maybe just do 2 poles, and maybe we'll find somebody else.
Make sure you're not too close to the sidewalk. That ladder is a little unwieldy. Got to watch out with some of my curves when I'm holding it sideways. It pretty much crosses the entire street. It's that long. So
wow, yeah, I think I've seen you on that thing. So,
one of these days a strong breeze will just knock me off and put me out of my misery. So
what else? I know for Main Street you're doing a building inventory. Is that correct?
Yeah, slowly but surely. It's something that the state would like us to do, just to take stock of what we have.
Right.
It's so many of our towns, unfortunately, are losing buildings, which is something we've also faced in the past. And this is just an opportunity to take a snapshot and moving forward, so we can see in the future where we were at this current point in time.
Okay.
Which is a snapshot. I don't know why I just explained that in detail.
No, it's great. No, but it is a lot of work that you in the Main Street committee undertakes, and a lot of times it's just 2 or 3 just doing that.
Locally, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We have so many buildings and contributing structures in our downtown district. It's a little bit more of a lengthy process than some other communities face, but it's a problem I'm willing to have. It's a good problem to have.
What do you see upcoming as far as Main Street or anything that we have in the fall that we want to discuss or mention?
Well, of course, the fall decorations. We're going to do something again this year like we did last year. I think it was very well received, and of course, I have to give another shout out to our businesses. If you'll recall, last year we delivered straw bales to the businesses up and down Main Street, and we also had another local organization that contributed to putting the cuttings on the street lamp posts.
Very nice, yeah.
The Rose and Garden Club also, they did I have to give them a shout out and share my appreciation with all that they've done and all that they did last year for the fall decorations. They purchased the bows, which we still have. We're very good
at recycling.
At recycling.
Yeah.
Reuse and recycle. It's amazing what poverty will do to.
But that's great, though, and
frugality.
Some of that stuff, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, we're really excited about that, and of course, this is just a busy time of year.
It is.
So we'll go straight from the fall decorations into our winter decorations. Have a few ideas to add to our pallet trees. Hopefully, make it more of a inviting.
But that was a big deal last year.
Wonderland.
That was, people I think really enjoyed those pallet trees. You put a lot of effort into those. You dropped them off, and then several groups decorated them and painted them,
and so many of the downtown businesses as well. And of course, that that just is what it all circles back to is. It doesn't matter how good an idea is unless you have buy-in. Mm-hmm. And I've been so blessed to have such wonderful buy-in from the downtown businesses and from the community at large with some of the projects that the Main Street program has undertaken over the last few months. And I would just like to express my appreciation to everyone who's made these wild ideas possible and helped bring them to fruition. And I look forward to working with y'all in the future. But, of course, the most important thing is just if you have an idea of something you'd like to see done downtown on Main Street or in the community at large, please, contact the city council, contact me, contact City Hall. There are willing partners for community ideas, and we need to hear them.
Yeah, and we had a great event the Saturday before the eclipse at Planters Park.
Yeah,
we had a movie down there.
Allison Van Hooser,
yeah.
I know she took the lead with that.
She sure did.
An absolutely fantastic job.
I think almost 150 people.
Yeah, I think it was
like
just
that.
right there in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely wonderful turnout, and of course, this is not the first movie we've had down there. But it's wonderful to see the community turn out for something like that, and they just seem to enjoy
and to use
it so
that space.
Much. Yeah.
Because that's a nice space to use.
I tell you, it works out perfectly for something like that. And then, of course, there was also popcorn being sold and some soft drinks. And if I'm not mistaken, I know it went to charity. We're not exactly sure which charity it went to, but there was a good turnout, lots of help and volunteers and support, and it was just wonderful seeing the community come together.
And let's talk about, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the eclipse. And it's sort of like Sunday, it was a ghost town.
A lifetime ago.
It does, but then you looked around Monday. I got off the air, and I was on the air a lot longer on that Monday, and I drove down the street and had an inventory taken of at least 26 different state license plates. We had the planes flying in.
Yeah.
And then downtown was absolutely packed. People camped out with their chairs, walking up and down the street. I talked to several merchants, some of which stayed open, some didn't, and I understand. But the ones that stayed open were covered up.
Yeah.
And pleased.
I think that they were very impressed, the visitors were, with our small town. We've got some wonderful notes and emails of gratitude that have been sent, through Facebook and email, and just a lot of expressions along those lines. And I'm so happy that everything worked out so well. And, of course, very important shout-out to all of our emergency services.
Definitely.
Because they put in, I would be remiss to even try to guess how many hours was put in with the planning, and it went off, from what I understand, perfectly.
I think so.
I mean, we could have not asked for a better planned-out event when it comes to traffic and emergency service preparedness, and they just did a fantastic job.
Kudos to them. I know, all of our, Joey McCaslin, our emergency management coordinator, and just so many, you don't want to start naming names, just so many people were involved. But you definitely, those folks and everybody, I attended several of those meetings. Just the planning aspect was what was, I think, mainly important, and it went off without a hitch. And, of course, all the regular calls that they had to take. And I don't think there were any major incidences that they had to worry with, except for the traffic leaving.
Yeah.
And of course, what can you do about that? I mean, up about in Hopkins County, I think the intersection of I-69 and the Penny Rock Parkway there got a little hairy, and there were some folks, going north that was, it was pretty rough going there just for a while.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate intersection. I actually went with some friends later that night to Madisonville to go eat in Madisonville, and they're redoing the exit at Morton's Gap.
Yeah.
And I think that just, even at 7:30 that night, I guess that was still probably eclipse traffic leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It had mostly cleared up on I-69, but I think it was just that bottleneck.
Right.
As soon as you got past it, traffic really sped up again. But yeah, they did, they planned for the worst, and it was a wonderfully laid plan, and it was executed to perfection.
And all the big events with Soul Quest, everything went well out there.
Yeah.
I think they had a good crowd, and we're very pleased with that event. Again, that there was another example of fine planning.
Yes, and that's really what it takes. There's
does.
so many things that go on behind the scenes. I know I've said behind the scenes probably like 6 times
You're exactly right,
this morning,
though.
but it really is. There's so many things behind the walls you don't see that
Volunteers
make
and people throwing in
fall
that
into place.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, the only thing that could have worked out better, and I'm sure why I hate to speak for them, but the police and sheriff and other traffic directors that were around the courthouse might agree with me, is if the courthouse could have been picked up and moved so the traffic could have went straight from South Jefferson to North Jefferson. It seemed to be the only bottleneck I saw all week.
I rode through there, when everybody was exiting, and it was amazing because it was stacked up, all the way back to Legion Drive and up around the courthouse up out there. So, but a lot of people got a good view of Princeton. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's no better way to show off a community than installed traffic. It gives you time to look around, I guess.
And I think our community has much to be proud of as far as being good hosts to the event, because I've heard, like you, nothing but praises, seen nothing but praise from visitors that were here about their time here. So
and I have to say, I'm absolutely amazed with how conscientious our visitors were with our community, because of course the fear always is, with an event like this, they weren't coming to the community for the community. They were coming because our community happened to be in the line of the total eclipse.
Yeah.
So, the fear always is since they're not here for Princeton, they're not going to treat it well. But they were absolutely fantastic. I don't believe that there was a patch of grass, especially in our downtown district, that was not being utilized in some way by tourists for the eclipse. And it was amazing because, they came they left as quickly as they came. And it was like they weren't even here, when it comes to trash and rubbish. They were very, very conscientious of our community, and that was just so wonderful.
I remember
to see.
writing that. You're exactly right. I remember writing that in my news story. 2 minutes and 40 seconds of totality. It took about 2 minutes and 40 seconds for everybody to kind of pack up and leave town too. After I never saw anything like it. Just boom. It was over and there they went. But it was orderly for the most part. There was no, just.
And even, I'll tell you the thing that amazed me the most is I guess they probably recognized what they were getting themselves into, but even as they were leaving the community and there was a traffic jam around the courthouse, I didn't see any angry faces or people laying on the horns
just
cursing pedestrians.
It is what it is.
It seemed like it was really amazing. They were very, I hate to use the word well-behaved, so I'll say conscientious.
There you go. That'll work.
The tourists were, we couldn't have asked for a better group of tourists.
We could not. Big, like I said, busy, and I guess the biggest busyness is the Black Patch coming up here on September the 9th.
Yeah, there's always something. We go straight from the frying pan into the fire. We leave the eclipse behind us, and there's always something coming up.
And it's going to be a great event. The Optimist Club, you talk about planning, they've got this thing down for the most part. Even with changes, they make it, and everybody pitching in, make it a wonderful Heritage Festival for us here in town, and we want to encourage everybody to come on out Friday night for the parade. They're going to start lining up at 4:30 at Butler, and it doesn't cost a thing if you just want to be in the parade. We'll have a wonderful parade Friday night, and then, of course, all the events downtown Princeton beginning at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. You'll still see stuff setting up. They're out there working it pretty much all day, but you turn around by about 10, 11 o'clock, and, everybody's in place, and the downtown's full.
Yeah, and again, not wanting to speak for anyone else, but I can imagine that if you have any ideas for how you think that Black Patch could be improved, I've heard George Kilgore and other organizers and other individuals involved with the Optimist Club say it enough that they're always looking for those new ideas. And I think that's true of so many different organizations in town. You know, they're incredibly receptive to new ideas. That's always been my experience, and I think that if you have those ideas to improve Black Patch Festival or anything else in your everyday experience in Princeton, I'm sure there's someone somewhere that will be receptive to your ideas and will work with you to see them done.
No doubt about it. I know those guys will. They like you said, they've said that many times. If you got an idea, bring it to us. Let's talk about it, and we'll see what we can't do to make it happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't just be our ideas. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel as it comes.
You've got a few, but every once in a while you'll strike good. What about? I know you've been working on a new logo for Princeton. Is that kind of still in the works? I guess.
Well, it's not really. I wouldn't say a new logo. It was just something that
just you kind of incorporated some things of the past and brought it together or something like that. I don't know. You showed it to me, and it had a crown on it and Prince kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And you know that it was pretty nifty, I thought.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just something, you know, honestly,
it's eye catching.
Well, it was about 12:30 in the morning one night, and I was working late, and I noticed that there was a logo builder on my computer, and I thought, well, at 12:30, what's better to do than just play around new logos? And it's kind of snowballed. And
eat a slice of pizza at 12:30 or play with the logo.
Exactly. Actually, you know? I was probably doing both.
Okay, I know I would have been.
Doing both, knowing me. But yeah, it's nothing really official or anything like that. It was just.
But you're still working on it. It looked really great.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it was the crown. I know the crown throws a lot of people off, but you know, my approach to it is it's an easily recognizable symbol to go along with our name for the out-of-towners. Of course, there's not much association with a crown or actual William Prince or anything like that for our actually born and bred Princetonians.
Right.
But it's just something for people coming out of town. If they see the crown and then can associate that with Princeton, then you have that kind of connection there that you can play off of from a tourism and marketing standpoint.
Right.
That was kind of our approach to it.
I think that's probably a good way to go.
But if you like what the logo looks like, then you can thank Tiffany Massey of Farmers Bank, because I was really, I probably shouldn't say this because I'll probably have to return the paycheck. I'm pretty sure I'm on the payroll at Farmers Bank at this point. I spent enough time there. Hope Jeff McDaniels doesn't hear this. But yeah, it was really her idea. She did a fantastic job. She had the Adobe, the Photoshop, and everything else. I'm not a creative person. I cannot draw crooked lines. So
well, hey, we all need little assistance and a little help. And so yeah, she's talented. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What have we missed, my man? Where do we need to go from here?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I feel like there's just so many things, and none of them are coming to mind right now. I guess really, if just to circle back to the website, you know, just it's used since we've been here about 50 minutes, just in case somebody wasn't here at the
we're doing good.
Right on the 8 o'clock hour. But we are updating our website, and we're wanting to include all business information, just simply so that it can be used as a one-stop shop. You know, when they come to our city website, we want it to be anything and everything Princeton, where you can find out information about our departments, about our city government, about upcoming events. So I'm working on a tab right now for Black Patch, so that when you go to our homepage, at the very top, you know, visitors or Princetonians alike, what they'll see is, you know, a brief description. You know, our annual festival is upcoming. You know, click here for more information, and we'll change that throughout the year. It's going to be kind of the same format that we use for the Eclipse. One thing that we're really excited about, and this is where the businesses come in, we have a new tab called Plan Your Visit, which is just anything that you can possibly think of when you visit Princeton. We want it included on this tab, and it's going to be a great resource for Princetonians as well. You know, talking about eating pizza at 12:30. If you're the next time you're wondering, you know, how late does Pizza Hut stay open, or how late does McDonald's stay open, or you know, to be able to go to the website.
We're gonna get to eat,
There's
at
the
12
hours
o'clock
right
at night,
there.
yeah.
But then on a completely, you know, another hand, how late does Posh have an email address, or does Coleman's have a website, or does Sandra's have a Facebook page? You know, just to have all that information consolidated and user-friendly all in one place. It's really, my approach to it is it's a modern age Yellow Pages.
Okay.
You know, since the Yellow Pages seem to really be falling by the wayside, you know, this is the new online resource where you can find out anything and everything you want to about Princeton. And then also, it seems so difficult sometimes for people that aren't from here, you know, if somebody wasn't from Princeton, how would you explain Princeton to them, or where would you tell them to go? And of course, they can do it piecemeal. They can type in Princeton, Kentucky on the Facebook, but not all of our businesses have Facebook,
Right.
and they could look on Instagram or do it by websites, but we're trying to create, like I said, again, because I'm all for the keywords, the one-stop shop, where especially we can also build a marketing identity around this one website where we can direct people to, if we did billboards or anything else or brochures or whatnot, they go to this princeton.ky.gov and they have all the information they could ever want about Princeton. And if they want to find out more, that's where it becomes so good that we have those links for your contact information. Because if they're interested in what they see at Zio Bros, to send them an email, or if they're interested with, just any other business around town, Polyeyes, or if they're, Cozy Living, Kings, anything and everything. We're just really wanting it to be.
Are you making good progress on that?
Slowly but surely. Like we talked about earlier, we are asking for businesses to send in their information, but of course with new things, there's always a little bit of reticence, a little bit of reluctance, to get the ball rolling. So what I've done is I started with A's. I found the old Yellow Pages, ironic. But I started with the old Yellow Pages, and I went through A to Z, and if I could find a Facebook page for the business, I went ahead and put whatever information I could.
Okay.
So trying to build that up, especially before the eclipse, because like I talked about earlier, there was really good traffic. So we have a good framework, I would say now, but it's not finished as how it is. And this is to any businesses that don't see their information on there or haven't sent in any information. This is an ongoing process. You can send it in anytime.
Update it or whatever.
Like I talked about earlier, we can update it as well. Don't feel like this is one of those things where, it's going to be written in stone. It's incredibly easy to change. It's kind of like Microsoft where the layout for the functionality of it is. So I just type it in. I have a link to on my office computer, and I can change it, and as soon as I push publish, I can have something changed within 2 or 3 minutes.
Great.
So like I said, it's just another way that we can market Princeton and get us all on one page and serve as a free resource. That's one thing I haven't stressed yet, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that this is actually a free resource for the businesses of Princeton. We're not charging you anything. The website itself is free. So there's no hidden fees or strings attached. This is just an opportunity to have another avenue of advertisement for your business.
That is great. I know you put a lot of effort into it. You've been working on it for a while, and
I hate to say that because it doesn't look great yet. So I hate to say that I put too much time.
There. No, but you're working to get it going.
It's a work in progress,
and
as is many things I do.
Well, just keep it up and give that address again and how they can contact you if they want to take a look at the website.
Yeah. The website is princeton.ky.gov. It's not the best website address in the world, but it's free, so it's hard to complain.
There you go, yeah.
And .gov, it just makes it sound official.
Of course.
But if you are a business and you would like to send in your information, and the information that we're looking for businesses, and just to make this clear, this is just the max amount of information we're asking for from each business. If you don't have some component of this information, that's okay. We can still put the rest of it. But what we're looking for is your business's name, as you would like it represented on the website, up to a 25-word description, your hours, your contact information. So that's email address, phone, whatever the best way to contact you is. Or as many ways as there is to contact you. Website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of those social media links, website links. And, of course, this is what I was mentioning earlier. If you don't have Facebook or social media or don't have a website, don't worry. It's not important that we include that. That's something that's offered.
Sure.
So we can include it if you have it, but if you don't, it's no problem. And even if you don't actually have your 25-word description, because I know if I owned a business, this 25-word description would be keeping me up at night, trying to come up with the perfect way to represent my business. Don't worry. That's another thing that we can change as many times as you want.
Good deal.
And if you want to go ahead and send in your contact information, I can always go back later and add the description. But if you would like to send in that information, I ask that you just please email it to me to PrincetonKYMainStreet@gmail.com. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to either email that address or contact me at 365-9575. That's City Hall's number. Just ask for Kota Young. or you can call or text my cell phone, 625-4827. All I ask is that if you call my cell phone to leave a voicemail, because for some reason, I'm sure everybody's getting this recently, I'm having all these, what do you call them, cold calls or...
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
and they all show up as local numbers. You can't even say, well, I don't know anyone in Saskatchewan or something like that. It's especially from Edible. I'm getting a lot of those calls based out of
I've got them
Edible,
from a few places, so yeah.
So I digress. I say all that. So if I don't answer, I'm probably in a meeting or doing something. Hopefully, I'm doing something.
But leave a
productive.
message. He'll get back with you.
Leave a message, and I will.
And don't
call
try to
you
sell
back.
him a cruise or anything.
Well, unless you're just giving one away.
There you go. You will take a giveaway cruise, right?
I will accept free things.
All right. Well, thank you for what you do, sir. You wear a lot of hats, and you stay busy, you stay active, and we appreciate it.
Well, that's the only way to be in life. Have to be doing something.
You got to keep moving, don't you?
Got to keep something on the plate.
And we want to encourage everybody to look around town for the Black Patch Heritage Festival books. They're printed, and they're full of information and ads that the Optimist Club put out.
Oh, yeah, always incredibly informative.
It is. And if you're going to spend any time at Black Patch, which we hope you do, then pick up one of these. They'll be around town. I'll have a few out here at the radio station as well. But it's very informative booklet about our Black Patch Heritage Festival coming up on September 8th and 9th. So.
And a good memento as well.
Of course it is,
Since
yeah.
they started republishing these every year.
Yeah, you save them. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's new collectibles right here, Black Patch Heritage Festival booklets.
Yeah, it is. It is really neat. But the schedule of events is in there, and boy, we're counting down. We're not very far away now. We are just a couple Saturdays away.
Be here before we know it. Yeah, I guess it's not this Saturday, but the next.
That's exactly right. So, boy.
Eclipse, and now the Black Patch, and what's next?
There's no telling. But anyway, thank you for being here, and thank you for what you do again. That's Kota Young. He's our Main Street manager, as well as
sounds more important than
webmaster and grant writer. So
and Gardner and
what else?
A few other things, just whatever they need me to do. I'm pretty
all right. But check out Kota's down at City Hall most of the time. He's not running around town, and
just stop me on the sidewalk.
Stop him on the street.
That's my exercise is speed walking. I can put anyone to shame with my speed walking.
So stop by and and get involved with this website too. But he wants to add you to the city's website and. Be sure if you're a business that he has that information. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, that is Kota Young, our Main Street manager in Princeton. We're about 2 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour. We thank Kota for being here, and you've been listening to Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station, WPKY. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection